It was a quiet afternoon in the forest, and Little Bear was sitting under the magical story tree. Today, he decided to try something new. He plucked a glowing book with shimmering rainbow edges. As he opened the book, the pages began to flutter wildly, and a whirlwind of colors surrounded him. "Hold on tight," a familiar voice called out. It was the page-turning fairy, her wings sparkling as she appeared beside him. "This book will take you on a journey through magical realms. Are you ready?" Little Bear nodded, his heart racing with excitement. When the colors settled, Little Bear found himself in a land filled with enormous sweets. Candy canes were as tall as trees, chocolate rivers flowed freely, and giant lollipops sprouted from the ground. "Wow!" Little Bear exclaimed. "I've never seen anything like this." Suddenly, a group of marshmallow creatures bounced toward him. "Welcome, Little Bear. Can you help us build a bridge across the chocolate river?" Little Bear agreed enthusiastically. Using candy blocks and jelly beans, he worked with the marshmallow creatures to build a colorful bridge. When it was complete, the creatures cheered and a magical door appeared. "On to the next realm," the fairy said, as the door glowed brightly. Little Bear stepped through the door and found himself on floating islands high above the clouds. Each island was connected by glowing rainbow bridges. "Careful, Little Bear," the fairy warned. "You'll need to solve a puzzle to reach the next island." On the first island, Little Bear discovered glowing stones with symbols. "Match the pairs," a tiny bird chirped, fluttering nearby. Little Bear matched the stones and the bridge lit up, leading him to the next island. On each island, he solved a new challenge, playing a melody on crystal chimes, arranging flowers in a pattern, and even catching glowing fireflies. Finally, he reached the largest island, where a grand golden gate stood. As Little Bear passed through the gate, he entered a glowing forest where every tree and plant seemed alive. Lanterns hung from branches, and tiny fairy-like creatures flitted about. A wise old owl greeted him. "Little Bear, you've done well, but your final challenge is to find the hidden treasure of the enchanted forest." Little Bear searched high and low, following glowing trails and solving riddles. Finally, he found a sparkling chest under a tree. Inside was a glowing golden book. "This book holds the story of your adventures," the owl explained. "It will remind you of the courage, kindness, and curiosity you've shown today." With a flash of light, Little Bear was back under the story tree. The glowing book was still in his hands, and the page-turning fairy hovered nearby. "Did you enjoy your journey?" the fairy asked. Little Bear nodded, smiling brightly. "It was amazing. I can't wait to share this story with my friends." The story tree rustled its branches as if clapping. From that day on, Little Bear knew that every book held the power to take him on an incredible adventure. And so, Little Bear's journey through magical realms became a favorite tale, shared under the glowing branches of the story tree.